Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on leveraging strategic management portfolio to strengthen your organization using ServiceNow Strategic Planner. We're thrilled to have you all here for this interesting session. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a quick few house rules to ensure everything runs smoothly. All participant microphones will be remain muted through the presentation. This is just to ensure that there is no background noise during the presentation. Please submit your questions in the chat box while the panelists are speaking, and we will address as many as possible during the Q&A session. This session is being recorded and we reserve the right to use the content for future reference. If you have any additional questions or require assistance, please drop a message in the chat box and a team member will reach out to you immediately. Now, without any further ado, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague Nihal Pawar, who will introduce our panelists and set the stage for today's webinar. Over to you, Nihal.
Thank you, Rachel. Hello, everyone. So today we are going to have this webinar on leveraging strategic portfolio management to strengthen our organization using ServiceNow Strategic Planner. So this is a very focused webinar on to the strategic planner tool that is available in the SPM module of ServiceNow. So to just start with, we have some agenda set already, which I would like to go through. So first of all, I'll just introduce you to the speakers today. Then we'll have an audience poll. Then we'll be going through SPM. That is the module that we have from ServiceNow. Then some benefits of it. Then the SPM offerings, strategic planner, and then we'll be looking at strategic planner tool in a deeper version. So let me just introduce to you Jay, who is SPM product owner from Entity. Then we have Roberto, who is director on ServiceNow product owner at Entity. And there's me, Nihal. I'm from Nihal. So before starting the webinar, we have a small audience poll that I would like you guys to have. You can just pick up your phone, scan the QR code, and then we can go with the webinar ahead. So I'll just give you guys 5 minutes to go with it. So I hope everyone has given their polls. Oh, so we have a very equally divided audience here. Um, so the first question was, how familiar are you with SPM service now? And looks like we have, okay, so we have somewhat familiar at the greater side. Then we have SPM users. Um, so we have 57% of who have no idea about SPM, and there are 42 regular users. Then we have primary roles as consultants, 42%, project manager 28, and other. So the main goal is very much sorted here. So everyone wants everything here and wants to learn more, wants to implement. So this is a very nice audience that we have, Rob and Jay here. And I think we can continue with this now. Okay. Um, so before starting the session, I just want you guys to know. So if you have any doubts, you can just mention in the chat. I know Rachita has set the context, but I'm going through with it again. So as we all know, so today's focus of the hour is strategic planner tool, which comes with SPM tool module of ServiceNow. And I'm not sure if you guys can see the screen. Rachita, can you confirm?
Yes, your screen is visible. Go ahead, Nihal.
Um,
Just put it on presentation mode and the screen. Yeah, it's visible.
yeah, yeah, it's nice. Okay, okay. Thank you. So before jumping on to using strategic planner, we need to know what is SPM first. So as SPM's name suggests, that it is strategic portfolio management. It's an approach for a way of conducting your planning so that all your project, program, portfolios, finance, ideas, demands align with each other in such a way that organization is benefited for the best. So SPM gives you full control of your journey from innovation to final business outcomes or results. From a business point of view, SPM enables you to gather your plan, alignment, and deliver in such a way that it always stays with the business objectives and it fulfills them at the end. So as you can see in the image here, the SPM usually helps us from the start of the innovation stage of your organization and towards the end of your business outcome. So so SPM is that tool, or SPM is that module from ServiceNow which would align everything that you have in your pocket, from going from planning to aligning and delivery towards your business objectives. So going forward, so SPM can be beneficial to an organization in many ways. It gives you one place solution, ensures alignment of funding with strategies, shifting fundings. If you have any doubts about the funding that you have already done, you can also shift it in real time. Then you can shift the resources on the run, scale any work method, and increase the value of delivery at the end. So the SPM offering that ServiceNow provides has a lot of modules given here. If you can look at from the left side, there's innovation management, then demand management, resource management, project, program, portfolio, strategic spend tracking. And then on the right side, you can see digital portfolio management, time card management, scaled agile frameworks, Scrum programs, agile development, test management, information portfolio, and business planning portal. So if you look at the right and the left side, these things are which can be aligned with each other to make sure that we reach our business goals. And then in the middle is the strategic planning. So strategic planner tool make sure that you align all of the things that you have from an organization perspective, and then you align it to give a better delivery. So for today's focus that we have on the strategic planner tool, so strategic planner is more like a bridge tool, which covers the gap between the strategies that you have for a company till the time you want to execute it. To give an example, if a company start on the higher level, if a company wants to increase their sales, reduce their operation cost, and have something innovative product to be introduced from their side, and at the execution part, you need to have every small aspect of every small task that should be executed in the right amount, in the right time. Also aligning all the departments of your company, all the products that you have. Then the execution should be that right, that the funding also that is given to every portfolio or every program project should align in a very proper manner. So that is what strategic planner helps you do, that it covers the gap that is between strategy and execution. So this is the strategic planner tool that we'll be focusing on today. So so strategic planner comes with a lot of features, and we can benefit our organization by using strategic planning in various ways. So it helps us gather, review, and prioritize work that aligns with the strategy, track status and progress of initiatives on an interactive visual roadmap, all in a single platform, support agile, hybrid, and waterfall planning methodologies, allow planners to visualize, manage and share their portfolio plans, then analyze their portfolios depending on the needs, and also they can also do capacity planning. So once you have everything planned, it is very much intended to go in the right way. Now, strategic planner comes with a lot of features, but we today we'll be focusing on some of the key features that we have, to look at them. So starting from the strategic planning lens, we'll be looking at these in a very brief view in the next slides, and then we'll be having a demo that will be covered by Jay. So strategic planning lens is the first one that is very much important from a perspective for business planning. Then we have portfolio prioritization, portfolio planning roadmap, pre-form roadmaps, goal management, backlog planning, capacity planning. So to look at in detail, strategic planner lens provides you with a perspective in which you can plan and fund your work. So this is how a strategic planning lens looks like. So when you open the strategic planning workspace, it shows you these 6 options, which are in sort of lens, or you can say as a spectacle or a perspective that ServiceNow provides. So suppose if you are from an if you are very much if you are a department manager, if you have a department, if you are a department leader, then ServiceNow offers you with a lens, that is the first one, that is the organization, which will help you think, or which will help you see the things from a perspective of changing your organization structure and your organization goals. If you are a product manager, then you would select the product lens, which is the second one, which would give you a perspective from a very product specific one, which will show you all the products that you have in your portfolio, what are the products being developed, which products are coming new, and so on. These are the lens which you would select, and you ServiceNow would help you get some perspective on it. Then we have portfolio prioritization. So portfolio prioritization, so this look would come up once you have selected a lens. Suppose we have selected one lens, and then you see the portfolio prioritization tab. It shows you all the demands that are set in priority by you and lets you decide according to the Moscow method, which should be must have, could have, and would have. And depending on that, you can prioritize your tasks. Then we have portfolio planning roadmap. On the roadmap view, which this helps you see the task by the dependencies and which can be taken first, or which are dependent on other departments. So suppose in this case, if you can see, there are 3 departments you can see on the slide, that is finance, HR, and IT. So in case some HR has a program or an initiative coming up which needs a backup from finance and IT also. So that creates a dependency on these 2 departments. So this can be mapped on this roadmap, and that would help you gain the insight on how much time and at what date would be the specific day or specific timeline I need to implement my HR policy or HR engagement. Going ahead, ServiceNow also gives you and feature called as free from roadmaps. This is this doesn't have any perspective. This is like a free slate, a clean blank slate for you, and gives you the freedom to decide how you want to use it, and helps you configure these things also. Then going ahead, we have goal management dashboard, which helps you sort your targets, align with your parent goals, then also get the insights on the total progress done. So if you can see on the screen, we have the pie charts here. So the first one shows the total progress. Then we have the status, which is in green, which is shows that 4 goals have been successfully completed. Then we have total goals, and then we have not aligned to parent goals with then some of them are with no targets, so some of them are with no work aligned. So this is how you decide. So the goal management dashboard helps you decide which goals need to be taken forward, which are mostly aligned, which have a parent goal, which have a goal, bigger goal to go to. So all this is decided by the help of strategic planner tool. Then we have backlog planning. When it goes to the execution part, and we want to make sure that the execution goes well in an order that you have decided. So it is all decided here, and you can see the prioritized task here. And depending on that, you can plan your backlogs, you can plan your tasks, your epic, your sprints, and then you can make sure that nothing is left behind when it is at the execution phase. We also have capacity planning. This gives you an insight where and how much capacity your resources have, and which resource can be taken up from one team and which can be put up to another team if another team has the requirement of the capacity. So all of these features are very much helpful from strategic planner's view, and it would enable to cover the gap that is between the strategy and the execution. So I hope this was very clear to you, how strategic planner works and what are the benefits of it and how we can use it. Now to just show you at the base level, at the instance level, how strategic planner can be used. I have Jay here, who will be taking us to the demonstration and will be helping us out with it. So over to you, Jay.
Thank you. Can someone please give me the magic one to share my screen? Perfect. Just give me 1 second. Yep. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Awesome. And you can see me as well, right? Coming on.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me and the team today in today's webinar. As you saw at the introduction slide earlier, my name is Jay, and I am the SPM product owner here at NTT Data Inc. And honestly, I'm really super excited to be chatting with you today. And today we're going to have a look at the strategic planning workspace in the SPM service now. Now, first, I just want to let me set the stage a little bit so you can get a little bit of a background about our use case. Now, as Nihal showed us already in the SPM offering slide, you can see about 16 offerings that SPM offers for you to help you manage your work in your organization. Now, how many offerings to implement will depend on the maturity of your organization and your SPM implementation journey, as there's a lot to navigate. And honestly, strong foundation is the first step towards that. So you want to assess your organization structure, your needs, and see what offerings from SPM can answer those questions for you. So for us, SPM isn't new to us. And I think we've had it for almost 2 years now. But just because it's been around doesn't mean we've been using it to its full potential. So when I first joined the organization, I quickly noticed that our reporting and tracking were still being done pretty manually, and information were scattered and stored in different sources, and that affected our data quality greatly. So that's not really ideal. Plus, we've got users who've been struggling to understand certain features of the tool, where things are, and we've received like multiple enhancement requests for change, right? But upon reviewing those requests, we found that most of these requested features are already available out of the box. So, but anyway, however, we do understand that navigating through the platform, various module and applications can be overwhelming, especially when you're managing a team, you're running, executing, prioritizing tasks. So users need an easy to access solution that helps them plan and manage everything in one place. Okay, and that's when we knew we had to shake things up a little bit. So last year, many of our stakeholder and users didn't really understand what strategic planning workspace could do for them. So earlier this year, we dug into it and got feedback from the stakeholders. Great news, they were excited to hear about the workspace and how it could help and transform their workflow and bring some much needed standardization to our reporting. And you've heard this a million times as well. There's no one size fits all solution. Every organization has its own unique edge, and that's what keeps us competitive, keeps it interesting, right? And at NTT Data, we have a clear vision and mission. We know the outcomes that we want to achieve, and SPM honestly isn't the best, isn't the only and first tool that we've tried, but it's the one that aligns best with our goals, thanks to its robust features that we have, data structure, and the workflow design. Okay. All right, enough talking. There's a lot of information. Let's get to the fun part. I'm going to turn off my camera and you're going to see my screen. And Rashida, if you could please confirm when to turn off my camera, I can see my screen. That'd be awesome. All righty.
Yes, we can see a
Cool.
screen.
Awesome, awesome. So everybody, this is how we capture business initiatives, business cases, okay? I'm going to show you how we turn those into demand and into project and epic for delivery, how we prioritize our work, how you can manage your dependency, your milestones and everything. And just a huge heads up, everything you're seeing here and you're about to see is a demo data from our development environment. So it is all for show, okay? So let's dive in. All right, this is the heart of our planning and execution. First, I want to show you a quick navigation menu on the left-hand side. So we have the product feedback here. We have portfolio planning. We're exploring a little bit into the agile, enterprise agile planning space. We have the lists, we have capacity, resource capacity, and we just have settings here, okay? So first of all, I just want to say I can go straight into our process, but I want to emphasize one thing very important. In terms of the use case, due to our operational structure, we actually go straight into using product ideas and not feedback, and we'll come back and implement this as our maturity grows. Okay, so for the list, I want to draw your attention to the list. This is where you lay your foundation. Okay, you have a lot of entities here, different entities and different planning items where you can come in here and you can manage your strategic plan, your product lenses and everything else. For our organization, we start at the very top level. We have the strategic plan and it's kind of filtered down to priorities, and our goals then feed into those priorities. So now I'm gonna go back to here. So right now we have an IT catalog where users can log their business cases or initiatives, okay? Once a request is submitted, it gets captured and sent into the product ideas where you're seeing it now. This dashboard here, I believe ServiceNow team is working on something exciting coming up second half of the year. I don't know much about it, but I think it's going to be pretty cool dashboard. So I'm just holding on to that, but this is kind of the current view we have at the moment. Now, as a business relationship manager in terms of persona, who will be interacting with this dashboard is the people who are managing their portfolio, okay? So imagine a business stakeholder comes in, they go into our IT catalog, they submit a request, they said, oh, hey, we really need to improve this process because it's aligned to our strategic goal, it solves this ABC problems, it's gonna really help us to get ahead. So they submit that idea, and it gets captures in here the product ideas. Now, imagine I am the business relationship manager. I come in here and I can see the ideas that got submitted by the business stakeholders. and I'll be like, what's going on here? You can see the planning state here. That's to help me manage and prioritize my work. If something is just submitted and new, then like I just have to go to it and have a look at it, and it's going to go under review. Okay. You can see as well here a preview of what was filled in by the business stakeholders, okay, when they submit the request. And this is just a preview to just give you a quick glance of what this is, what it's about. If you want to go full details, you go into the full details tab here, and you have all of the information that they filled out about this particular request. Now, for me, I'm like, I'm not sure. I need to bring this into my product council, okay, my team, to see if this is valuable, if you want to progress with it. I want you to think of the product idea stage as a pre-demand stage, okay? So I act as an idea manager. I bring it to my council. We together evaluate the idea, determine if it's aligned with our strategic goal. And if it does, thumbs up, we move it along. So what I want to do here is I want to change this state into prioritize. That's how our model works. So we're like, we're going to prioritize this. That means we're going to have to link it into a demand if there's existing demand to it. But if it's a new idea, likely you want to create a new demand here. So for the interest of time, I'm not going to show you how to create a demand because you should probably have a basic idea. Demand is just a request coming in. We evaluate the life cycle, we submit it, we screen it, we qualify it, we approve it, and we convert it into a project on Epic, for example, right? So I already have this done for you. Once I convert this, once I click on the new demand button, you see like a little form comes up for you to fill in information about this demand. And then once you click on save, you're going to see a new planning item appear here in your tabs, one of the related tabs on the product ideas. And you can see that my demand has been created, okay? So that's the first one. Now, you might be thinking, all right, we get how to enter data and convert demands, but what makes this strategic planning workspace so awesome? And I'm going to show you quickly. Remember what Nihal was saying about the lenses, okay? So this is how I am going to prioritize my work, including this particular demand as well. You know, everything gets captured, gets spitted out in the lenses, okay? That's why I was so stressed about have your foundational data organized, or you end up fixing a lot of data for the lenses to work properly. So I'm going to go into the second menu navigation here, portfolio planning. And you can see from like, you know, watching YouTube videos or something on the ServiceNow website that you can have two types of the portfolio plan. You can have the one with the fake lenses out of the box that ServiceNow gives us, or we can go and create a free form. In this case, we're trying to use everything out of the box as much as we can and standardize the processes. So we're selecting a lens, this lens. So if I go and create a new lens here, as Nihal mentioned again, when we briefly touched on the lens, right? If I'm a product manager, I'm likely going to be keeping an eye on my product. I'm going to choose the product lens, okay? And at the moment as well, our data structure, we're tracking things from company strategic priority initiatives, strategic program in here. So this lens is actually more suitable for me than the rest of them for my use case. So I'm interested here to see how my demand's doing, how my projects are doing, and how is it affecting the strategic priority of our organization, okay? So I'm gonna go and click on next. This is pretty cool. It actually, gives you a lens structure, okay? You don't have to remember them from the previous page. And it's asking you to select the item you wanna see in your planning board, and you can choose one type. And the planning item, I'm like, okay, the ground level, I'm gonna go with planning level with demand, product ideas, project, and Epic, okay? When you go into the next one, then you can choose the entity, okay? These entities I showed you before on the list. This is where you set up all of those foundational data. So then everything gets mapped properly and start from the top, okay? The highest level of information that you have. So then you can map every little thing below it and feeding up into the higher level of that information, and everything will just make perfect sense. Your life will be so much easier, I promise. Okay, So I already created one, okay? This is just to show you a few things of how it works. It's pretty straightforward. You select what you want, you go next, you select your criteria, and then it created a lens. So I'm just gonna go back to my lens here that I've created. This is the cool thing about it. Let me just planning. This is the prioritization page. These are all the epic and demand that got converted and we want to prioritize as part of the roadmap, okay? So this is the ranking based on the Moscow value and effort and everything. It just spit it out like this, and your prioritization with this as well. So it's pretty cool. I can go in and change anything that I want to update it, and it will be reflected in the roadmap itself, okay? This got goals and relationships tied to it. If you have resource assignment, it will be there, and you can manage your milestone, dependencies, related items, and everything on them. It's pretty cool. The cooler thing is the list view. You have list view everywhere in most of the solution and product you go. I love the roadmap of SPM. Now you're looking at this and you're like, this is so busy. What are we looking at? Okay. So as you can see, when I created the lens, okay, I say, okay, I want all of my planning items, all of these demand and epic, to be linked to the strategic priority, and it just generate this for me. And in terms of group, I decided what I wanted to be grouped by. Right now it's grouped by portfolio and the strategy, okay? How do I change things around a little bit? You can see here, personalized. I group it by portfolio, and the subgroup is the strategic priority, okay? Now, I can have the owner, as you can see, PMAG, this person here. If it's too busy, toggle it off and you won't have to deal with it. But I'd rather know who's working on it. So I'm like, I have to get onto this person now because this progress isn't looking too great. The status is red or whatever. And the dependency is pretty cool. I really like the dependency because a lot of work in a portfolio, one thing could depend on another thing finishing for it to start. So it's nice to have that view like in one place. So right now, if I just toggle off the dependency line, you just have the little dot here and it tells you the dependency. It said, hey, this is the dependent item on this. And if I just wanted to manage items with dependencies only because maybe my roadmap is really busy and I'm only interested in things that are depending on each other, items that are depending on each other, I just do this. And it tells me exactly what is what. Now, another thing I want to show you is how do we manage this, okay? You can see the red line here. This red line is basically telling me something is not right, okay? And you can see the time frame is overlapping. So it's basically saying this item depends on this to finish, but it's not even finishing yet, but this is already starting. That's not right. So as a manager, I come in and be like, oh, I need to move the timeline a little bit. I can drag it and just move it. And you can see that the dependency is now normal. It's not critical anymore. It's not warning. And I like that about it. It tells me if I'm making a mistake, if a date is overlapping, so I can go in and really be proactive and manage it. And milestone. This is the milestone that you can create, right? Okay, I want to change a milestone here. A preview here, you can just literally go in, you can manage dependency from here, and you can manage a milestone from here. This is a handover to ops on this date. Who is this assigned to? I can change it. Is this key milestone to do with a deadline, or is it a launch date, or some other important date? And did we miss it, or did we achieve it? You know, so most of these it's upcoming, so you won't see that it's missed or achieved. But that's one of the features there. Now, that's just how I can move dates, I can move things around, but you know, like I wouldn't recommend doing that without properly assessing the needs of each according to your organization approval plan or something. It's easy to move things around, but you need to be careful, and it needs to make sense as well. And you know what's even cooler than this roadmap? You can go to goals. And I love goals so much because it just makes my life easier. I'm looking at this and I can see that This is, by the way, this whole view here, okay, this portfolio, goal scoring and planning. This is all just come from creating a lens. Once you create that lens, you get these 3 views, and it's pretty awesome. And you can see the overall, the total progress, 24%, see how each of your strategic priority is doing and not doing. And you can see the status as well of the strategic priority. Seeing is one thing, but how do you interact with it? You can. If I can just click into one of these, it's going to open a record for me, and it's going to tell me, I can go in here, see what's happening with it. Oh, it's red. This is not great. We can come in, update a couple of things, readjusting something, we plan it, and then it's going to no longer be red, right? If we just kind of rectify the issue. And it tells you, hey, you've got 21 goals, not like it just doesn't have apparent goals, but that's okay. Not all the goals have to have apparent goals. What I'm worried about is, although there's 2 here, but there's no targets, what is it doing? And down here, we have targets as well. We have those that are green, those that are red. Again, it's interactive. You click on it, it opens up the records for you so you can interact with it in real time. Whew, okay, so that's just pretty much a glimpse of our use case, what we're hoping and we're doing it, like what we want to use it for, because you can gain so much managing everything in one place rather than switching from different module trying to plan everything. It's very overwhelming when you have so much to do already. And this is why our business stakeholders, when we talk about strategic planning, when we demo it to them, they're like, I can't wait. I can't wait for this. You know, I can't wait for the new process. This is going to be so much easier. And it just kind of get everyone on board already. So that's pretty cool. Now, for the interest of time, I think this wraps it up for the demo, okay, for now. I know there's a lot of information to digest, but you've been brilliant for hanging in there with me. I know I talk a lot, and I really appreciate it. Now, without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Roberto, our ServiceNow Director, Platform Owner, who will talk about SPM best practices, how to get the most out of it. And he can please feel free, Roberto, to chime in on anything that I've missed in this demo as well. And I'm just going to hand it over to Roberto. Rashida? Everyone still there? Am I losing anyone?
No, no, no.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Better?
Rashida, I'm not seeing the slide on screen. I think Roberto can kick off as well. Roberto, if you're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Roberto. Is it just me or I'm the only one can't hear Roberto?
No, I think Roberto got dropped off. Um, we'll just wait for a minute for him to come back online.
Yeah, no problem. I think he'll rejoin. Um,
Just give us
have
two
we
minutes, everybody.
have we any questions or anything so far from participants?
Not yet.
Okay, no problem at all. Still got time.
Hi, Roberto.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, we
I
can
can
hear
hear
you
you
now.
now. Perfect.
All right. So I was speaking for the last 5 minutes, so I apologize for that. So glad now that you guys can hear me. So let me just go back where I were. Uh, thanks, Jay, for the presentation. It's easy to when we have product owners like Jay in the organization. It's awesome and make our life much easier. So thanks a lot, Jay, for that. So let me introduce you a little bit and give my background. My name is Roberto Alves. I'm the director of product owner from the ServiceNow platform at NTT. I have 18 plus years of experience on the IT space, where 10 of them it's to implementing ServiceNow. I have been implementing ServiceNow since 2014. I had the opportunity to implement ServiceNow across the globe in different type of industries, and that give me exposure on the things that we can do or we should do and the things we should not do. When it comes to SPM, where it's something more strategic, you really need to get down to the organization and understand what are the goals and the prioritizations of the organization. Moreover, it's how organization manage their demands and projects. Each organization will have different types of management and the way they conduct it and they make the governance about their project and demands, but it's really important you set the foundation of it. So when it comes to best practice in the ServiceNow platform and the organization itself, you need to set some ground rules or what I call the big rules to move that. So everyone that is being implemented ServiceNow, and not just for SPM, but this is across any product in ServiceNow, there are two important boards that you should have in your organization. It's the design board, and different organizations call it different names, but one is looking forward about your design and what are the things you can do and should not do in the platform. And another one is the technical board, which is going to review and ensure that your development matches with the design of the solutions and follow the ServiceNow best practice. Another thing that I I see and I learned across my career is people tend to reinvent in the wheel. They think that they are the smartest person, and what ServiceNow suggests to us, or the design that ServiceNow has put in the platform, it doesn't work, right? But the majority of the times, it's the organization that it's stuck in the past and they need to transform as well. So every single ServiceNow implementation comes with an organizational change as well. If the organization doesn't change, any tool in the market will fit their objectives. So every time that we plan to introducing a product in the ServiceNow, we need to make sure that organizations are ready to transform, to change as well. Of course, it's not that we need to fall 100% out of the box of the ServiceNow. I'm not in favor of that, to be honest. But what I'm in favor is to, if we need to deviate something from the ServiceNow platform, we opt to do smart customizations. Smart customizations, it's something that you are going to look into the big picture and how it fits in the end-to-end service management. ServiceNow provides value when we do end-to-end service management. SPM in standalone, it will provide a lot of inputs, a lot of things to your organization, but it has much more value when you connect with other products in ServiceNow, and you are able to track or manage your services since the beginning, since the idea until the delivery and the maintenance of that. So when we opt to deviate something of the ServiceNow recommendation, we should do that in the smart way. So also ServiceNow has evolved a lot in the low code and no code. It's very rare nowadays where you need to create some heavy customizations on the platform to fit your needs. So always try to go for, if you need to change any workflow, if you need to change anything in the platform, always try to go for the no code and low code option. For example, the Flow Designer. Flow Designer nowadays can replace scriptings where we are designing business rules and other types of scripts in the ServiceNow platform. Another key foundation that we need to have, especially when we are implementing SPM, it's the data management. Everything starts in a foundation. If you don't have a good foundation data, neither SPM nor other products will work very well, because that is the foundation. How you can start building a house from the roof. You need to have a solid ground, then you can build in the walls, and then you keep it going, right? So before you start implementing something on ServiceNow, check your data. Check if you have a good foundation, a solid foundation. And then you need to set in a separate board just to do the data governance in your platform. Also, ServiceNow, as I mentioned before, it's moving towards to the end-to-end service management. How you can connect that? Any solution at some point will depend on the CSDM framework. So even though your organization doesn't have maturity to implement in the CSDM, you as a product owner, platform owner, or consumer of the ServiceNow platform always need to think towards and say, what I do today, does it fit on the CSDM module in the future or not? For example, when you're talking about SPM, there are organizations that it's product driven. There are organizations that it's service driven. But how we can see that on the platform? How we can manage products instead of managing services? All of that will fit in the CSDM framework. And it's in a framework, like many other frameworks in the market. It's in a concept that you can adapt. So you can either manage your strategic portfolio by products or by service or by any other things. Even there are certain options, as Jay demonstrated in the demo, different lessons that it's from organizations, from business unit. You can prioritize your work depending on so many different things. So you also should avoid, and that it's a very common mistake that drives a lot of customizations in the platform, it's data duplication. ServiceNow has a table for most of the things where the data should be placed in certain places, right? And when we start doing the implementation, we also want to focus on the user experience. And the people or the customers, the business, they tend to go and let me show the department or the business units or whatever in the demand form, or let me show that in the project form, rather than just dot walking and see that in the actual table, correct? So avoiding the data duplication, because that will drive a lot of customizations on your end, okay? Also, the other board that I mentioned that we should have, it's the technical board that will enforce in the best practice. I've been seeing in my career so far that developers, because of the push of the business, just go blindly and developing code and keeping updating the same code and keeping putting more and more and more and more. I have seen in my life scripts that has 2,000 to 3,000 lines of code. How heavy it's for us to maintain it? If there isn't a bug, how we can do that troubleshooting in a code that it's 3,000 lines of code. It's almost impossible, especially because this type of code doesn't have no documentation that supports it. So forcing best practices in your development since day one will avoid you to creating technical debts when you go and moving further. And also, it will allow you to create something that is scalable. Remember what I said, smart customizations. Smart customizations begins with smart requirement and smart development. Also, something that many organizations are applying nowadays, it's the concept of library. So what is the library? It's block of codes that can be reusable in so many different things, that it's accelerated your development, that supports standardization, and that supports also your deployment to production environment. And when you are developing something in the agile perspective, you always want it to be fast. Agile doesn't mean chaos, but also you need to keep delivering smaller things over and over and over. So all of these things that I just said will support you to do a good implementation, not just for SPM, but any product in your platform. Governance is key, but the governance covers so many things that you need to have in a good structure for that. So I think that's the end of what I have to say as a product owner. I will hand over to Nihal again, and thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Rob. That really comes with the experience here. Thank you so much. So, Rachita, do we have any questions from the audience?
Yes, Jay responded to it as well in the chat.
Okay.
I just want to add as well, like I know this is the webinar and it's really to do with everyone's connecting, sharing knowledge and everything. So I mean, for networking, if we're still exploring the EAP, the Enterprise Agile Planning. So happy to connect with folks on LinkedIn to discuss further how you're doing it and how we're doing it and some of the best practices. So please don't be afraid to connect with us on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah. So I think Jay has already replied to the question, right? So is there any other question that we are waiting for, Rachita?
If anybody has any questions, I think this is the time you guys can put it up in the chat box, and we have the panelists here to answer them for you. Keep it open for the next 2-3 minutes in case somebody is typing their questions.
Yeah. So till somebody is typing the questions, we can go ahead with the further slides. We can
Sure.
give them 2 minutes. So after the so I just wanted to take you through and have this opportunity on the stage to introduce to the product expertise that Nihilent has on their side. As ServiceNow, we deal in multiple products that we offer as in our expertise portfolio. We have ITSM, ITAM, customer service management, GRC, HRSD, FSM, Now Platform, security operations, and many more, and of course SPM. So Nihilent has a great pack of products that we deliver in. We have a very great team and great leaders governing them. Also, in ServiceNow's offering, we also deliver in various practices that we practice ServiceNow. So the first one would be the consulting and strategy, implementation, integrations, business process transformation, operate and improve, management and maintenance, managed services, resetting licenses, training and change management, innovate with App Factory, and many more to come. So Nihilent has a very vast experience in the implementation practice and consulting practice of ServiceNow, and we see a very much bright future ahead with partnering with ServiceNow and delivering the best out of it. So if you don't have any questions, Rachita, we are good to close. And I would like to thank everyone for joining the webinar and helping us grow through the platform.
And yeah, we do not have any further questions. Guys, anyway, the LinkedIn forum is open. You guys have registered via LinkedIn. You can reach out to us at any point in time if you wish to connect with Nihal. You can do that through our website or through our LinkedIn page. We're always open to respond to queries. And you can, like Jay has already suggested, you can connect with the panelists via LinkedIn in case you want to directly reach out to them. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And I hope you all had a really, really interesting session today.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone. Thank
everybody.
you, Rob.
Have an awesome
Jay.
day.
Thank you so much, Jay and Roberto, for
Bye.
your time.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.